Hello, hello. Yes, we are in Hawaii again, and we are with Justine Shelton. Hello, Justine.
Hello, nice to see everyone.
How are you?
Nice to be here. Thank you. I'm good.
Thank you for
Good.
your time, and thank you for being in the marathon, this big
Thank you so much
marathon
for
2000 on
asking.
education, because your subject is so interesting, and I wanted to people to know about it. We are talking about the body, the importance of the body. I think, I mean, I like the name If I Knew, and maybe that's your next book if one day, I would, it would be nice.
Yes.
And if I knew, what do you mean by if I knew what? What about the body?
Things I wish I had known when I was younger. Um, for instance, I was very active as a child. I showed horses. And then as I got into junior high and high school, my parents said, I'm 6'3" tall. So I'm well suited to play basketball. But truly
Basketball,
my
of
only
course,
talent,
basketball.
yeah, exactly. My only natural talent was that I was tall. So I worked a lot. I lifted weights, I trained, I did all of this. And I thought athletes were healthy. That was my conception as a child, like, oh, as long as I'm an athlete, I'm healthy. But
Mm-hmm.
truly, I wish I had known athletes push their bodies beyond where they should be pushed. And so I had a lot of injuries. I
Oh
hurt my back,
no.
I've
And
had
how
two
old,
knee
how old were you?
surgeries. The first time I put my back out, I was 15. And
No,
then it was
no.
out and I continued lifting and then I developed. So to this day, I still have a tendency for my back to go out and a lot of structural
No,
damage.
that's not
Yeah.
possible.
But I found yoga, which helped me tremendously. I found it for different reasons. I was having female problems, endometriosis, and my acupuncture said, I will help you, but you have to do yoga. And then I'm doing yoga and I'm going, wow, my knee feels better. My back feels better. Wow, there's all of this. And what I realized when I got my scholarship to play basketball, my brother is 2 years older than me. And he's like, kid, you're going to get beat up. You know, these women you're playing are going to be bigger, stronger, faster. So I started doing protein shakes and working out with bodybuilders. So I got very strong superficially. When you're lifting weights, you're isolating, say, just the quadriceps and working those. And then you're isolating just the calves, just whatever you're isolating, rather than what I realized when I started yoga is I'm using my body and synergistically strengthening everything at once. So say I'm doing a pose, warrior two, where you bend into one knee, everything's working together. And I realized while my body was strong, superficially, I had these muscles I could show, my joints were very weak because I wasn't strengthening them. So in yoga and other forms, I mean, not yoga is just the path I chose. I'm strengthening the joints from the inside, those tiny muscles to the outside and the big supporting muscles. And that helped me. I was much stronger in my 30s and 40s than I was in my 20s.
Yes, everybody should know them. And I want to
Yeah,
tell everybody, you are a yoga therapist and energy healer. From basketball, you have a holistic, complete approach now.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
so,
And I wish,
so
like,
nice. Yeah, we have
how
to
wonderful would it be
help parents.
if I used yoga to prevent injuries rather than heal from injuries? It's great for healing injuries. But if we could get children into yoga and strengthen their body and learn, you get one shot in this lifetime. You get this body and you're carrying it from childhood through adulthood. So if you know how to take, and some of it is very simple. I'll work with clients who have been in pain for 10, 15 years, worked with physical therapists, done all of this. They've been in pain this whole time. We do a couple of yoga sessions and it's not me doing it. That's the beauty. I'm giving them the power. This is what will help you. And they go home and do it. And all of a sudden they're out of pain after sometimes long periods of time. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we definitely are responsible for this body.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when people, no,
Yes.
just the body, this is physical. Mind you, this is so precious. This is holy
Yes.
body.
Yes. And I hope this is okay to share. So I teach anatomy to yoga therapists, and I'm very interested in anatomy and physiology and how the body works, because our body is amazing. And I've had the opportunity to do 2 cadaver dissections on untreated bodies. So they don't have formaldehyde. So you can see the fascia, you can move them, see the connective tissue. And the first time I did it, and I've studied shamanism for over 10 years. I've done a lot of spiritual work in my life. Doing that cadaver dissection was the most spiritual experience of my life, because you're seeing inside. We aren't a miracle. We are miracle upon miracle upon miracle. And what the body will do to create homeostasis and keep you functioning is amazing. You'll see the body deposit more bone because we need more stability here. And sometimes it will do things that aren't good for us. For instance, if someone's shoulder is really weak, their rotator cuff isn't working, the muscles will start to solidify and calcify to where they become more bone-like, which limits your range of motion, but it stops, the further degradation of the joint. So then as a yoga therapist, I might have to come in and show them how to move in simple ways to start to get, because what the body will do one way, it will do the other way. So if you lose that range of motion, you can also regain it. And even working with seniors, I taught in a retirement home, and I probably shouldn't admit this, but I would have this thought of like, oh, I don't know if this will help. And after 3 months of them doing yoga twice a week, all of a sudden they look like they came out of the movie Cocoon. They have this range of motion that's insane. And it's just, breathing properly and doing not, and I don't mean yoga, fancy back bends, headstands. I mean, very gentle movement linked with breath creates profound change. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, everybody should know, definitely.
Yeah.
From school, from very little. What is, dear Justine, what is homeostasis? You use the word we didn't catch for the translation. Homeostasis.
Oh, homeostasis.
Homeo
Homeostasis is the body regulating to keep you functioning. So
is
keeping,
self-regulation.
yeah,
The pituitary
like,
gland. Okay.
yeah. And I think
Homeostasis. It's the same
also,
in Spanish, actually. Homeostasis.
good. Okay. Yeah. The other
Yeah,
thing
we
I
need them.
think I wish children knew, I wish I knew when I was a kid, is how to regulate our nervous system. And we can get into very complicated descriptions of the breath, but it's really simple. If you lengthen your exhale, just lengthen your exhale, that calms the nervous system and brings you back into rest and digest. So say a child is really nervous before a test, they're not going to be thinking as clearly because they can't. Their body's in fight or flight. So even at the start of a class, you have to listen all day. At the start of a test, I always tell my clients, let the inhale happen. Don't try and, because that can be distressing. You allow the inhale to happen and then you lengthen the exhale. And it's just like it's almost like a little switch on our nervous system. Oh, here we are, calm. Lengthen the exhale, suspend the breath out for a moment. And you can see it. You can stop a panic attack that way, lengthening the exhale.
As simple as that.
Yep.
No pills.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you see,
Maybe the doctors
even
are going
sometimes
to hate you.
people where they're breathing up here, that triggers the body, fight or flight, run, danger, something's happening. And as soon as it just lowers the nervous system. And it's such an important part of health to be able, if you watch children play in a park, they're going from fight or flight back into rest and digest, back and forth. They're chasing their friend, fight or flight. They tackle their friend, they're rolling on the ground, laughing and giggling. Now they're in rest and digest. Oh, here comes someone else playing tag. Run, run, run. And that ability of our nervous system to go in and out of fight or flight and into rest and digest is so important as we age. Even they'll, in the medical term, they'll talk about heart rate variability. You need to be able to get excited and to be able to rest and go back and forth. Some people get stuck in that fight or flight, and it's very damaging to our body. Yeah.
Wow. So what would you tell the parents? Like many mothers are watching this program. We are with more than 46 countries, I think, because this is vital. You can really damage a child, a young person, and or you can really reinforce. So what would be tips and recommendation, and what should we
I
do?
think for me, as a child, if I had really been seen as a person, yes, I'm younger. Yes, I need your wisdom and I need your guidance and I need that, but I'm also my own beauty and my own entity. So to be able to recognize just we teach them because they remember. And I think also to remember to play, to remember to stop. And if they're getting worried, panicked, get up, march in place, have a little fun, shake your body, move the lymph. Okay, now we can go back to work. But to keep uh, children just acknowledged for the beauty they are rather than less than or not full citizens of the earth. Really to nurture them, because as we nurture children, they become nurtured adults. Here I am at 50 years old and I'm finally starting to feel comfortable in my own skin. What if I had had that at 18, Yeah.
Correct. Would you like to share the story of the ballerina, the dancer?
Ah, yes.
How do you say in English?
Sometimes
Ballerina? No, this is Spanish.
ballerina,
Oh, ballerina.
ballerina. Yeah, yeah, which I am not. I tried ballerina or ballet and it was not a good thing. But in my yoga therapy practice, I have worked with young women. And there's one woman in particular I'm thinking of. I think she was 16 at the time. And I knew her mother and she was having a lot of pain. And so she came to me for a session. I created a practice for her. She did it every day. They came back a week later and there was zero improvement. And the young woman went to the restroom and I said to the mother, please, will you go and get a doctor to check this out, to get an MRI and really see what's going on? Because what we were doing should have helped her and it's not helping her. And I didn't want to do any harm. So they got the MRI and her mother called me in tears because it was the daughter's dream to be a prima ballerina, but it was also the mother's dream for her to be a prima ballerina. And we have to watch that. How much of it is the mother pushing? And it turned out she had 2 torn labrums in her hips, each side. And that is the deep cartilage in the hip socket. It's very hard to heal naturally. You normally need surgery.
You need surgery.
Yes. And the mother was crying because she knew this meant the dream of being a prima ballerina was over. She had to have surgery. She was in a wheelchair for a time, but then she healed and she walks and she has a normal life. She just doesn't have the strength it would take to be a prima ballerina. And I remember saying to the mother, but wait, she could be a teacher. She could help young women fulfill their dream. But well, it broke my heart because it's like, that's not, the mother was like, no, that's not the dream.
That's not
and so I just backed off and had to let them mourn that loss.
Mm-hmm.
But and it became a mission of mine to say, when young women, as they're going through puberty, they have much less stability in their ligaments and joints. And so oftentimes, if a coach, a ballet coach, is more interested in that person progressing and less interested in long-term, They might push them to go up on point, those ballet shoes where they stand up on point.
Yeah.
I have seen that ruin many, many careers. I won't say it ruined their body because it didn't. There's stuff we can do, but often they will get scoliosis where the spine starts to curve, and that affects the stability of their whole structure. And if that isn't corrected, as they age, it starts to impact their internal organs as well, because everything shifts and there's not room. So it's honoring the child, honoring their dream, but also as a parent, standing vigil. This is your child, and that's the body they have the rest of their life. So not pushing them to do something that might be, athletes really, it's like taking a Maserati car. You're supposed to warm it up and not just gun it to the ground and go hard. And sadly, many athletes, and I find ballerinas to be some of the most gifted athletes in the world from what they have to do with their body. You got to nurture, you got to change the oil, you got to, keep that car running at a nice place.
That's basic respect.
Yes.
That was so interesting. If some people want to be in touch with you, because I'm sure everybody's going to comment and ask many things right now, because we are all mothers and fathers, and we want to do things correctly.
Yes. I have a website. It's JustineShelton.com.
Oh, that's easy. Exactly like your name.com.
.com. Or my email is Justine M like Marie Shelton @gmail.com.
Okay, that's easy.
Sometimes I say M like magnificent, but really it's Marie.
That's magnificent. Yes, definitely. And please, we do keep in touch. We want to know all your progress and what we can share. As well, you are an energy healer. We don't have time to talk about that, but definitely it goes together. And you have so much to offer. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love the work you're doing. I really do.
You take care, and we do keep in touch.
Okay. Aloha.
Thank you for your time. See you.
Yes.